Friday 28th, and I hope everybody Thanksgiving. I can't believe Thanksgiving is over. Yeah, I'm always going to comment about how fast the time flies. I really can't believe that it's over, but I hope everybody's enjoying a little bit of extra downtime, maybe some more time with friends and family, maybe a little bit of extra creative time. And if you are spending the day shopping, I hope that it wasn't too terrible. Like, I think it used to be that people would be out shopping, like out at the malls, but now I don't think there's as much as that going on. So tell me in the comments if you've actually left the house to do your Black Friday shopping. Oh, hello everybody. Hi Tanya. Hi Bobby Henderson. Hi Linda in Boston. So if you're stumbling on this show for the first time, I'm Deb Floros. This is Fab Art Beads Fab Fridays. And because it's Friday, it's fabulous. So we just like to have fun on a Friday, be fabulous, make something, chit chat, talk about beads, talk about jewelry making supplies. Yeah. So, that's what we do here. And it is the best time on a Friday afternoon to just kind of sit down, put your feet up, relax, grab a cup of tea, maybe a snack, and just hang out. Let's hang out. I see Michelle is here. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for being here on Black Friday. Michelle is kind enough to hang out with me today. I appreciate it. Let's see who else is here. Francie is here. Bobby said she did not leave at all today. Gelda is here. Linda says she did not go out for Black Friday, but she did run some errands. I hope it wasn't too crazy out there. Millie is staying home. Ellen is here. Gina is here. Jane from Long Island. Hello. Let's see. Oh, thank you. I did a little black number for, Black Friday. Tanya stayed home. Monique says hello. Let's see who else is here. PJ from Florida and Zach from Michigan. Hi, you guys. So, I don't know if anybody saw our little videos yesterday. We did do some pre-recordings yesterday. You can always go back and watch them if you missed them. I'm wearing the earrings today that I made in my little show yesterday afternoon. These are from a kit, all with prestige and sterling silver components, a little candy cane. So fun and festive for the holidays. So, you guys, I have so much to tell you and we have so much to do. So the snack, the tea, make sure you've got that because we're going to hang out and we're going to chit chat for a bit. So I need to bring you up to speed on all the things. So November 28th, it is Black Friday, and today we are in the midst of a Black Friday sale up to 75% off store-wide. And I did some, poking around, and yeah, there's a lot of great deals to be had. So I was like, ooh, look at this is on sale. Ooh, that's on sale. So lots of cool things on sale. And for just today, my voice, just today, triple rewards points. So if you are a rewards points member, you're going to get triple reward points for your purchases. And if you're not already a rewards points member, you should check that out. So there is a way to get to that. Maybe Michelle can put a direct link to it or can at least guide you. But on the homepage, if you click onto the show or if you click onto the sale, you can see there's a hyperlink to get signed up for it, learn about the program, and triple points means goodies for you down the road. So that's pretty cool. And I think you even get some bonus points when you sign up. So yeah, do that because that's pretty cool. And shipping is free in the US for orders $30 or more. So that's not hard to achieve. And let's see, deal of the week is $5 off the Comfort Loom, which we're going to be working with today. And There is also a deal this weekend for the Bead Llama jewelry making kit. And if you guys are familiar with that, it's a big box of things. Now it's a kit geared towards jewelry making and, beginners and giving a beginner everything they need. But it's also a cool thing to get your hands on because maybe you need an extra set of tools. Maybe you need some extra beads. Maybe you need some extra seed beads, findings, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that is $45 right now, down from $69. So for the weekend, that is the deal. So, I think that covers, let me look at my notes. That covers, I think, everything that's going on. Now, we're going to do a giveaway a little bit towards the end of the show. So if you hang with me, if you're kind enough to hang with me, maybe you'll win something. I don't know, maybe. And for those of you who are here for the first time or haven't been here for a bit, know that if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, I can see your comments. You can chat with Michelle and I and all of the other serious art beaters that are here today. Thank you for being here. And you can shop the show. There's a little shopping bag icon on the screen. You can click on that at any time. I don't go away. The show doesn't go away. And you can take things and put them into your shopping cart. So there will be everything that's in the show is in the shopping bag. But there will also be shoppable links throughout the course of the show. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I can't see your comments live, but we want you to come over here anyways. And this is the place to be if you want to participate in the giveaway. So, that's a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to show you, this is the Comfort Loom. This is the box that it comes in. And this is what we're going to be working with today. Inside the box, you'll have all the parts and you'll also have the instructions. This gives instructions on how to put it together. And it also gives you a little project that you can do, which is an absolutely beautiful pattern. Now, today, I am not going to show you how to put this together. I'm not going to warp, and I'm not going to finish it. If you want to learn those things, the absolute best way is to go to the product, and there is a link to Julie Bean's class. Julie set it up, she warped, she finished, and she actually created a pattern in the show. And she did an amazing job. It's a lengthy process to show all of that and to do what I'm going to do today. So we're just going to focus on some things that you can do after you set it up, after you warp, and before you finish it off and take it off the loom and put on your clasp. So I've got some fun little techniques that you can use to help you design a piece of jewelry, whether it's a bracelet or some earrings or a necklace even. So I think these will be some fun ideas for you. So I just wanted to make sure you know I'm not doing all of the beginning stuff and the ending stuff. We're going to concentrate on what you can do, some extra little things you can do in the middle. And there's also a couple of other shows. Becky and Julie have done additional shows. Julie just did one this past Saturday morning, and Becky did a cool show using different sizes and shapes of beads. Let me say hello to a couple more folks and then I'm going to flip. I'm sorry that was a long introduction, but there are so many things going on that I needed to tell you about. Looks like Sharon is in the midst of a birthday. So happy birthday, Sharon. Let's see. Gina L is here. Sharon and AZ. Okay, cool. So you guys, I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to give you a chance to lay eyes on the loom. So it's hard to get the loom in the entire shot. So you're going to see my messy work table, but this is the loom all set up. Oh, and by the way, the loom comes with a gift with purchase. So you get some 1G and you get some beads. Your beads will vary probably from mine, but you'll get something that will help you to get started, even if you just want to use this to do some practicing. So that's one more thing to tell you. So let me tell you what what we're going to be doing today. So this is a little swatch that I put together of some fun little techniques, at least a couple of them that I wanted to show you. So I'm calling this a patchwork loom piece. Now it has no ends on it, but this could very easily be a bracelet. And I'll describe what I did in just a minute. So that could be a bracelet. It could be an earring if it were shorter. You could also double it up like this and create a fun little hoop type earring. So many things that you can do with a loomed piece. And I'm going to hit this camera probably 10 times today, just for the record. Now, why I called this a patchwork is, first of all, I used some really beautiful beads. This is brand new. I don't know if you guys have even seen these. These are Toho Treasure bead blends. Mixmaster Megan and her team put together these amazing Toho Treasure blends. And this one is called Christmas Tinsel. And this is actually what we're going to give away today for our giveaway. This is so festive and so pretty. So it's already kind of patchwork looking when you put it together on a loom. So if you're not being thoughtful of a pattern, you're just putting the beads on and it's creating that little patchwork kind of vibe. Now, what I did was I actually split down the center of my piece and I created a void space. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And then what I did was I filled up the void spaces with some fiber. Now, what I used here, and I don't think this exact color is in the show, unfortunately, but I used some Griffin silk cord. And I used this red color. Now, there are some colors in the shopping bag, and there's probably other colors available also in different sizes. Now, I actually did some weaving of that cord right onto the piece, and we're going to do a little of that today too. So I'm going to teach you how to do a little void space, how to add some fiber into the void space. And then one more thing I'm going to show you, I didn't do on that swatch, but I did here on this piece, is I'm going to add, add some seed beads around the edges. So I did a little bit of a, let me see if I can get a little bit closer, a little bit of a decorative edge with seed beads. And for that, this is the mossy something Toho Treasure blend. And I took that and then I grabbed some of the John Bead Silent beads. These are in a beautiful gold color, and this is called Electro Gold. I used that to go around the edges. So I'm going to show you how to do that little edging as well. So this is just, something that you can think about. Once you start getting used to working with a loom, you might want to do something different other than just a pattern or a straight set of beads. This is just ways to add some little accents and do some fun designing on your loom. So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. And I'm going to pop up and shut my door really quickly here. So I've got a tapestry needle off to the side. So I started this piece, and what I've got here is I've got, I think 8 warps. So I did the double warps on the edges, which is something that is recommended in the information for the loom. And what I did was I created a double wide space in the center. And I did that because I originally thought I was going to use a larger bead there. So it actually fits 2 seed beads in that center space. So I did a few rows. So I think I did, let's see, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of just beads straight across. And then I did some of these partial rows. And I actually added 4 beads here in this section and left 2 warps here as a void space. So then after I did the void space, I added 7 more rows. I think this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So you guys probably have seen how to put the rows on. We'll do some of those as well. But if I'm going to keep with my pattern, I'm actually going to add another void space to this side. So when I created this swatch, I did a piece on one side, and then I alternated over here and alternated over here. And if I was making this longer, I could have kept going, alternating on the different sides. Now you could do this throughout your whole piece. You could just add a little something here or there, totally up to you. But we're going to create a void space on this side now. And this is how I do it. So let me pour out some beads. And I'm going to continue to use this Toho Treasure blend. And I can't remember, it's got the word mossy in it. I don't remember what the name of it is. But I'm going to pick up 4 beads. And you might be able to see my hand over here off to the side. I'm picking up 4 beads. And I'm not being particular about which colors. I'm just picking 4 beads. So I've got 4 beads on my needle, and this is an extra long beading needle. It's actually a Loom needle, and this is also in the shopping bag if you haven't picked one up for yourself yet. So we're going to do the exact same thing that we would do if we were adding a full length of our warps. So I want to get my beads pressed up against my my piece here. So let's see if I can get them to pop in. So you want to press them so that they are coming up between your warps. So I'm going to hold on, and I'm left-handed, so this is sometimes a little bit awkward for me. But I'm going to pull through my thread, and then I'm going to go back over the top. So when you're doing loom work, you're pushing the beads up and kind of going under, and then you're coming back over your thread. And you know what I just did? I messed that up. So this is what happens when you haven't touched it for a couple days. So I'm going to pull this out. Sorry guys. So this is what you don't want to do. That's what you would do if you had all the beads there. So I got to thread my needle again. That'll take me just a second here. And if you haven't tried this technique, use a pair of flat nose pliers, smoosh the end of your thread, and that should help you to thread your needle or needle your thread. All right, so this is what we have to do differently. So we went under, but we're going to come back up through the warp, the 2 warps there, because we've created a void space. We don't have any beads there, but we want to come up, and let's see if I can do this with the camera in front of me. So I'm going to come up into that void space, and I'm just going to pull the thread a little bit out so I can get my needle around, and then I'm going to go through the top of those 4 beads. Okay, that's the right way to do it. So what's going to happen is I've created just the I've just loomed on those 4 beads, and there's a void space here in these warps. So then I'm going to pick up 4 more beads, I know this probably seems a little bit strange, but there are, there's probably some other things you can do here besides what I did. You could actually leave this void if you wanted to. Like you could totally leave a void space, and if that like appeals to you in some way, you could leave it that way. Like have it be like a little funky like skeleton of a loomed piece. Oh, and I just pulled those guys right off of there. That's not good. All right, so let me get these back on, pressed up there, pressed in between. And if you haven't done a lot of looming yet, you probably will be excited to know that you'll feel those beads kind of pop up. You'll feel them come through there. And let's see if I can actually do this with the visual I have through my camera. I'm trying to give you as close up enough view as possible, but also it's hard for me to do it because it's so close to the camera. So let's see if I can get this. I keep getting stuck now on the wing nut on the side. All right, there we go. So we've created this little void space. Now I'm going to quickly count. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did 5 of the short rows. So we're just going to do 5 rows, and then we'll have a space, but we're going to do some full rows below it. I like to do the full rows because I like to be able to completely see how much space I have to work with, to add my fiber. So I'm going to hold on to those beads, press them up, and got it trapped on this wing nut on the other side. I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to come up through that warp that is right next to my beads. Trying to see it, you guys. So right there. And then I'm going to go through the beads over those warps, hold on to the beads. And oh, I made a mistake again. So I grabbed I came up through the wrong spot. So I'm just showing you the possibilities of things that can happen here. So you know what? I'm actually going to leave it there because it's not going to harm what we do. I'm going to leave it there so that we don't spend all our time playing with fixing things. So it's not we're going to put stuff through there anyways. So then I'm going to add my next grouping of beads and pull my thread through. And let's see if we can get my my needle up through the right spot this time. And let's see. I'm gonna look underneath here. So sometimes, yeah, there we go. Sometimes it's easy to, oh gosh. I'm like a total fumble fingers here. Sometimes it's easier if you aren't so close with the camera. There we go. And then I'm going to go through the top of those guys. Sorry, I'm hitting the camera, you guys. I might have to back up just a bit. All right, so let's see if we're in the right spot there. Oh, and look at me. All right. I'm having a rough time showing this to you guys today. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull this back just a touch. Give myself a little breathing room for the moment. I'm sorry. Like I had all this ready to go. And yeah, I was not ready to go completely. All right. So I'm going to thread my needle one more time, you guys. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to thread my needle one more time. the camera location is hard. And I want you guys to be able to see this because it's, you know, it's the kind of thing, the beads are tiny. So you should be able to see this. All right. I trimmed off a little bit of my thread because it was getting a little rough on the ends. So I did do this whole first section. I did this whole first section with this end of thread with having to go through a couple times. So, all right, let's see if I can get this on. All right, we've got that on. We got one more to do. So we've got 4 rows. I'm gonna pick up 4 more beads. And, you know, with these Toho Treasures blends, if you do want a very specific pattern, you can most certainly do that. So it's up to you how you want it to look. I really just wanted it to be as random as it could be. So pull that through, and then I'm going to come up through the warps right next to where the beads are. And then I'm going to go through those beads. Let me grab a hold of that. This is my harder side to work on because I am left-handed. So, all right. So now I've got this void space, and I know we've got that weird little piece of thread there, but let's pretend that like that's not there. So now I want a defined space here. So what I'm going to do is do some regular rows. So I'm going to add all 7 beads. So it's 7 beads across. And just going to pick up 7 beads. If I can get the beads picked up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to pop them into all of the warps. So making sure that they all go where they're supposed to. Do I have too many here? Is it 6 beads? 1, 2, oh, it's 6. I'm sorry. The first piece I did was 7 beads. So we're going to pop those on. I'm going to push them up, and I can kind of feel when they pop through. So that's something if you're just getting started on a loom, you will find that you'll feel it when they kind of pop up through those warps. So get those through there and pull the thread through. So in this case, we've got void space here, but now we're creating those full rows of beads. And then we will have kind of our little void space framed, and we'll know exactly how much space we have to work with. So here we go, and next row. And I'm really trying to be random with the pattern of beads. This is very nice as like a patchwork or a mosaic vibe. Oh gosh darn. So let's see, get those guys in there. And do I have enough beads on there? 1, 2, no, I don't. All right, picking up another bead. Let me get this off of here. Oh, here he is. He's stuck at the end of my needle. That's why. All right. So if they come off the needle, you get this far, you can still press them up there. So that's all I'm doing is I'm coming up and I'm holding them up there. And then I'm going to grab my needle, go back and make sure all those beads are pressed through. And I'm going to go through all of them and pull the thread through. I'm just going to do one more row because I feel like I have a good vision of, what the, what the spacing is I have in that spot. So I framed up that little spot that we're going to fill up. And then we can start adding our fiber in. So I'm going to push those beads up there. And I often find myself in the midst of that thread. So I have to reposition my hands. I've done a lot of work on looms, but I haven't used this loom and it feels really foreign to me. I really like it, but it does take some getting used to do this sort of upwards positioning. And it is comfortable. So everybody says, oh my gosh, it is comfortable. It really is. So, okay, here's our void space. And again, we're going to pretend that we were perfect on our little looming here. So we have this whole open space. Let me see. I'm missing a bunch of comments. Are the Toho treasures a different size, or will they work in patterns that normally use Toho 8.0 or 11.0? So they are an 11.0 Toho bead. So they're an 11.0. They're just a more cylindrical type shape. Sharon, if that's helpful. And let me go back and see if I missed. The beads are going rogue. Yeah, I'm sorry guys for doing this, making mistakes on camera. This is really, it's tough to do it this close up. All right, so I'm gonna take my needle. I'm gonna pop it over onto my pin cushion, and I'm gonna show you what I do to add just a little bit of that fiber accent. So for this piece I showed you, I used some Griffin silk. And what I did was I tied it on, and then I did weaving through several warps. Now we're only going to have 2 warps to work with, so it'll be a little bit easier. Then once I tied it off on the other side, I used a little bit of glue. So I used some GS Hypo Cement. And then I did a little, I cut it and did some fringing. So I love that look. I think it's, oh, thank you, Gina. I think that's really kind of a fun little accent. You can decide if you want to go that far and go that crazy, but I think it's really kind of fun. Here, I used Amiot thread, which is a synthetic thread. So it's 100% polyester, and I love Amiot thread for all kinds of different projects. So this is what I did, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a braided vibe. So I'm going to trim off some of the cord, and I'm not going to need a ton of it. Let me find my scissors here. So I'm going to trim off maybe, I probably won't need as much as I've got here. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take my piece of cord and I'm going to tie a knot. Now, I don't mind the look of a knot because it just kind of adds to some of the texture of this. Now, if that bothers you, this may not be your look or your vibe, but there are probably other fun ways to make sure that this gets attached, that you don't have to worry so much about that knot showing. But I kind of like that because it adds to some of the texture that we're putting in this. So what I did, and this is going to be tough to see too, so let me situate this just a little bit differently. And what I did was I took the cord and I just did a couple of knots to get it secured. And I took the cord and I went up through the first warp. And then I went down through the next warp. So it's that over under that you're doing with your needle and thread. And, you know, it's almost creating here, maybe you can see that almost like a little bit of a braid, because we're just going through a couple of warps. Here it looks more braid-ish than it does like weaving on the bigger piece. So if we had more warps that we were going through, it would look a little more woven versus braided. So I went that direction. Let me see where I'm at. So I'm there. So I want to go back under there. And you've got a very small space here. Now, this cord is stiff enough that I can do this with my fingers. So you may choose to put this on a needle if you're more comfortable with that. Totally up to you if you are more comfortable with that. And I'm stuck on my thread here. I'm going to move my thread over the top. So you can use a needle if you're more comfortable with that vibe. So it's a very small space to work with, but you don't need to do a lot. So it's just, you know, just a little bit of weaving in that spot. And you could, if you wanted to, use a little bit of nail polish or glue at the end of your thread to get it to be, I mean, it's not fraying terribly. You can still get it through there, but it, you know, it is fraying a little bit at the end. So just doing this little embellishment on to that void space. So I kind of like the way that this darker green looks here, but you could do, because there's so many colors of ambient thread, you could do, you know, a really interesting, like you could do a red here with this green and have another kind of holiday look. I've been totally obsessed with the holiday vibe. So the red and the green, that red piece that I put together was super fun. That one felt very Christmassy. So we're creating that little, let me move it up here, where we're creating just a little bit of an embellishment. Now, the other thing about this is if you want a wider, a wider section, you would just not add as many beads. So in that red piece that I created, I had, I think, 4 warps to contend with. So I was able to get more fiber in. Now it will go through quite a bit of fiber depending on how many times you go through and how many warps you go through, and how much embellishment you actually want to add. So just know that whatever you do here, you may end up with a lot of fiber that you've got to use. Now, I think I used almost an entire package of the Griffin silk when I created the red one. I think I ended up with maybe like 1.5 feet left. So it just, you kind of have to see how much space you're going to go through, and you might want it really tight. You might want it really loose. There's just a lot of different possibilities, but showing you what you can do here to add that embellishment. So I'm going to go up through, and now I've got this entire section covered up, and it just looks like a little braid. And what I did before was I came up through here, and I think I was able to create a knot. Let's see if I can actually get that guy through again. think I was able to create a loop, and I pushed the cord through and I created another knot. So pushing up my beads, kind of pushing everything together there. Now I've got this pretty little green kind of braided section through there. Now, all kinds of options here for designing. So you could do, the same number of rows, add another one over here. You could do sections all the way down, or you could even do a short section, a wider section, all kinds of possibilities to this idea. So just something I played around with and thought that would be kind of interesting, kind of fun to do. And what I did to finish this off is I cut it and then I burned it. Now, I'm not going to use an actual flame on camera, but you could use a thread burner to kind of help you out. I think I have a thread burner in the show, and that will just kind of make a little bit of a nubbin there. But it kind of goes along with the idea of this other technique, which we'll do in just a second here. So that's adding fiber. And again, I'll show you this piece. The difference here was I had more warps to go through. So actually, I think it was 3 sections. So we had 3 warps here versus 2 warps here. So there was a lot more weaving. This kind of looks a little bit more like a braid. And this was silk, so I was not able to burn that. So I did glue it, and then I created these fun little, I don't know, kind of look like Whoville, like from the Grinch, like little Whoville embellishments here. So something really kind of fun and cool. So here's what I did to add a little bit of this edging here. So I'm going to grab these silent beads. So I put some of the silent beads in the show as well. I've got a few colors here. I've got silver and gold, which are always great, always fun to work with. And then I also have a neutral that I thought was really cool. So if you wanted to bring in a neutral, you could. I'm going to go with these gold ones. And the silent beads are actually cylindrical as well. So from my perspective, I thought, well, let's go with cylinders and cylinders. And because they're not like right next to each other, they don't have to be exactly the same size. And I do think there's a little bit of a size difference. In fact, let's see. I'm going to grab one of the Silens and one of the Toho Treasure. I think the Toho looks a little bit bigger than the Silen. So, if you're doing a more precise seed bead project, that might be more of a challenge to use it that way, but we're using our silence on the edges. So here's what I did is I started by, I put a bead on, and I'm going to go through the row next to the row that I'm coming out of. And I'm going to pull that tight, and I'm going to hold this up and show you. So I added that little embellishment right there. So it's just going to sit on the edge of the bracelet or the earring or whatever this turns out to be. And then I added another seed bead, and I'm going to go back the other direction through the beads. And this actually adds a little bit of reinforcement to your piece as well. So not that I think it needs it in most cases, but just adding a little bit of interest there. So then I'm picking up another bead, and this is where our short rows start. And that's okay. You can just still go through the row of beads and add that little embellishment. And then I'm going to go back this direction because I'm not adding an embellishment on the inside there. So I'm going to go through that one and then go back down. So we're just kind of putting an embellishment along the edge there and just making it look a little festive on the edges. And we're not adding a bead to that side. So pulling the thread through, adding our bead, going down through the next row, and trying not to go through my fiber there. And now we've got this fun little edging on the piece. And if I were to continue on this journey, what I would want to do is go back through beads to get back down to where I left off with my rows. So I can just do a little bit of weaving through and get back to where I started. And this adds, again, some more reinforcement. And by the way, I am using, I'm using Fireline. So 1G comes with, it's a part of the gift with purchase. You can absolutely use 1G. And you could use Wildfire. You can use 1G. You can use whatever you feel comfortable with. And honestly, warps can be with other materials too. So leather and a heavier cord. So it's kind of up to what vibe you're going for, what material you like to work with. I wanted to use something that you could see, and I think you can see the white wildfire, the crystal wildfire. So I'm back to where I started. So now I could continue on this journey and continue creating rows, make another void space. And if you've got other seed beads, so maybe you want to then start a pattern of a different colorway. You still want to do that patchwork. You could do some of these beads and use some red, or you can add some white. There's just so many possibilities. So I'm just trying to give you guys like some fun ideas. Looming, we often think of looming as it's just you're creating that, pattern, or you're just adding all the same bead, and that's beautiful. But there are other things you can do to jazz up your design. So I really like to just kind of play around and come up with something interesting. I also am a big fan of fiber. I have a loomed piece that I did in case you guys are curious. This is not anything that Art Beads carries, but if you like fiber, you could literally do an entire fiber piece. This is like some crazy yarn and ribbon, and I left all the ends kind of organically so you could do some fun things like that. And I did a bead closure for that. So many possibilities. I'm going to, we have done that. Oh, cool. I'm going to do a giveaway for one of these. Now you're going to get a full one because I used mine, here. So, this is the one I used here for this patchwork piece here. So, this is called Christmas Tinsel. It is a Toho Treasure 11-0 seed bead blend. And I'm going to ask a question. So if you're on artbeads.com/live, that is the place where we can see your comments. So What I would suggest is make sure you have your answer before you type it in. The first correct answer to the question will be the winner, and Michelle is going to help get that correct answer picked out from all of the questions or all of the responses. So here's the question, and I love this because the parade is near and dear to my heart. When did Macy's launch its very first holiday parade? We need the year that it started. And just a little hint, it was not a Thanksgiving parade in the beginning. It was just known as kind of a holiday parade, or maybe even a Christmas parade. What year was the very first? And Michelle, I think I actually see the correct answer already. So you will get one of these amazing Treasure seed bead blends, Toho Treasure seed bead blends. And this is what they look like together. All of these beautiful colors, lovely mosaic colors. So when you do this on a loom, look how beautiful that looks. And if you used a colored thread, like I did put some colored thread in the show today as well. This guy, 1G in some different colors. You could use some red here. There we go. Congrats, Linda in Boston. You're the winner. So, Linda, you're going to get one of these guys coming your way. This is going to be fun to work with, whether you use it on a loom or not. But just a few other things, you guys, before I flip back up. As I was saying, you could use this, use a colorful 1G. So you could use a red or a green, or pick a different color for whatever combination of beads you're using. That would also make the edging of your piece look interesting. So Linda said she will loom. Okay, I love it. I also put in the show this. This is the Toho challenge from 2025. This has a lot of great beads to work with. So if you want to get just a bunch of seed beads, and there's some other things for the Toho challenge, that is a really cool way to get a bunch of coordinated colors that you can use for your loomed pieces. Also in the show, you're going to find more of these Toho Treasure blends. I think this is called Winter Storm. And this one is like grays and silver and so cool. So I put some of these in the show. These are amazing blends. Mixmaster Megan added again this color. This is so beautiful. And I don't remember the name of this one, sadly. But this one is like more of turquoise shades. Linda, yes, I can show the blend. I can show the Toho Treasure kit. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. So the Toho Treasure kit, move this up a little bit. Move that out of the way. So this is the Toho challenge for 2025. It's picking up the ring light. It's called Sonoran Sunset. And every year Toho initiates this challenge for folks to create with a color palette. And so when you get it, you will get all of the information you need about the challenge and how to participate in the challenge. And then you get a bunch of beads. So there's even 1G in this kit. There is a Rivoli in this kit. There are some 2-hole beads in this kit. So there are some bronze Apollo turquoise ginkgos. And all of the colors are intended to be, coordinated. And there's different sizes of seed beads. So I don't always, so this is, we want to encourage participation in the challenge, but sometimes this is just a great way to get a bunch of amazing beads that are all coordinated. There's also some fire polish in here. This is a beautiful fire polish color. So, oh, and there's a few bicones. So this is just a cool thing to get home. So this is in the show today as well. And I thought it was great if you want to get yourself a loom and get yourself some beads to get started with. There are so many possibilities. And I also put some of these slide clasps in the show. I don't think they're all available. I don't think all the sizes are in stock right now. But if you watch Julie's live, so it's linked to the Comfort Loom product when you are in the shop, she shows how to use this slide clasp. And this is a great way to close your piece. There are other ways to close your piece as well. But I put those in the show as well if you want to give that a try. So I'm going to just trim off this little piece of, I'm going to trim off this guy here. And so you can get a better view of this piece and how it looks. So today we learned how to create a void space, embellish that void space by doing a little bit of weaving on of fiber. So using our Amiot thread in this case, but you could also use Griffin silk thread or other kinds of cording. And we also did some edging with some silent beads. So just some little things for you guys to think about, some things for you guys to try once you get your loom home or once you get your loom out and set up. And we had these looms on pre-order before, and we fulfilled all of those orders. I think most folks already have them now, but they are available again without a pre-order. So if you want to get your hands on these, it is $5 off right now, and you do get the gift with purchase, which is, I'm trying to find it on my table here, a vial of seed beads and some 1G to work with. So, sorry for the awkwardness of my doing that up so close to the camera. I did do some practicing, but it's a little harder under pressure when everyone's watching. So here's the other finished piece I showed. I would love to see what you guys do with these kinds of ideas. So you can share that at in our Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. So if you're not part of our group, go to Facebook, put in hashtag Serious Art Beaters, and you will get that group pop up. You can answer the questions to join. And all of the cool kids are there showing off their goodies. And I'd love to see what you guys are doing on the loom. Show me some fun things that you've tried. Show me some fun patterns you've tried. I know you guys are probably pretty obsessed with this loom. Once you get it out, it's hard not to be obsessed. So don't forget to close out your carts, you guys. I hope that you made it through Black Friday okay. Hopefully, you don't need to go out and do a whole lot more and don't have to go out into the crowds, but you could do a little more online shopping. We do have our sale still going on, and there's lots of great deals to be had. Keep your eyes on artbeads.com because there's so many more fun things coming up. Let's see, tomorrow morning, it's Julie Bean. First thing, Saturday morning. I'll be back Monday morning to get the week started, and the rest of the week we've got some fun things planned for you. Julie and Becky will be back throughout the week to do their shows as well. Thank you, Michelle, for hanging out today on Black Friday. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.